Donk Nation, Jackson, Janet's greetings and welcome to your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, bringing you the last off-season Steelers talk of the year 2025. We got Gingy, we got some predictions to make, we got some rosters to look at, and some big NFL trades going on, Gingy. Steelers not involved this time.
Ooh, could have been. Oh, what? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
That the Steelers should have absolutely blew the whole thing up 2-3 years ago when Roethlisberger retired? Yes.
Should have went
fully.
all in on that. If it takes
Fully.
2 first-rounders and a mid-round type of guy.
No, let's not undersell what
For
Kenny
Micah
Clark
Parsons?
is. Kenny Clark is an
Big run
older
stuffer.
and interior lineman who is a 3-time All-Pro, Pro Bowler at interior defensive tackle. This isn't like he's some unestablished scrub that the Cowboys got in the deal for Micah Parsons. I'm not really sure who, I've been reading a lot of the sports stuff, Gingy, and for people who don't know, Micah Parsons traded from Dallas to Green Bay, signs a ridiculous contract with Green Bay. The Cowboys in return get 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. Gingy, I don't really know who to say won that because either one of them could come out looking like smelling like roses, so to speak, right?
Could. Depends on how those first-rounders pick out, but I'm always about more proven, established talent before I am, projecting for the future. And Micah Parsons, he's that established talent type of guy.
He is, and I hear you on this. He's also a guy who the amount of money he's getting can absolutely handcuff a team. Let's start there. He's also a guy who got traded in his prime because they wouldn't pay him, and I really feel the overlooked player here is Kenny Clark, because Kenny Clark's not that household name that Micah Parsons is, because Micah Parsons gets his name put out there by all these social medias, being on it, saying his stuff, But Gingy, let's not forget, last year was a down year for Kenny Clark. There's no doubt about it. But the year before that was probably his best year with 7.5 sacks as an interior defensive lineman. Still only 29 years old. Is this maybe the guy who's the overlooked part of this trade? Because everyone sees 2 first-rounders for Micah Parsons. Maybe we should talk a little more about the Kenny Clark part of this deal.
I really think that you're on to something there. Kenny Clark, definitely a B plus, maybe A minus type of guy on a good year, right? Excellent run stuffer, good penetration up the middle, big presence on the defensive line, fantastic. Not a once in a generation guy, but I can absolutely see for when we're looking at the future how Dallas could make out on this deal. If those picks from Green Bay are anything above 15. Now, if they're all in the 20s, Donkey, this is a fleecing.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'll disagree there. Green Bay has to make a championship for this to make any sense. I'm not saying a Super Bowl, but they have to make an NFC championship for them to come out the winners in this trade. Because let's be honest, Dallas had some really good teams with Micah Parsons on them, and he never put them over the top. It's the same as TJ Watt. It's the same as Myles Garrett. I've had this conversation before. We've had it a lot of times. Green Bay is now really handcuffing themselves into paying one guy. But if this guy is the guy, it is a great trade, right? If this puts Green Bay over the hump, this is a fantastic trade. But you have to look at this from 2 different perspectives. Dallas has drafted some young edge rushers, nowhere near as good as Micah Parsons, don't get me wrong. But they have some young ones in there they like. And the big thing, if you look at what Dallas has really struggled with the last 2 years, is they can't stop the run. And a lot of times, elite edge rushers, they kind of handicap you when it comes to, stopping the run, because it's just not what they do, right? I don't know who I'd like this trade for, to be honest with you. And honestly, I'll tell you in 2 years who I like this trade for, because if Micah Parsons puts Green Bay over the top, it's worth it. They made the right move, because I am always a firm believer. You trade future endeavors for current now, right? Who knows what a draft pick's going to be? Who knows how well a draft is going to look? If you can get that guy who puts you over the top by giving up something that isn't even part of your repertoire, you do it if you're in a win now mode. Green Bay clearly in a win now mode. Did they already pay Jordan Love, or are they about to pay Jordan Love? I don't quite
They already
remember.
did, I think.
Okay, so that means he's probably close to asking for another new contract that's going to be up there ridiculously high. If this brings them to a championship, it's a win for them. If they don't make the playoffs, it's clearly a win for Dallas, right? Because Parsons was starting, him and Jerry Jones aren't getting along, and you know Jerry Jones isn't going anywhere. So getting 2 first rounders is huge value, especially if one of those first rounders comes before 20, like a mid-teens even pick. And that's what would happen if Green Bay misses the playoffs. And Gingy, looking at that division, Detroit's established. Minnesota, you would have to think that they have good authority to move on from Sam Darnold, who won them 13 games last year. You're talking 2 of the 3 best records in the NFC were in the North last year. And Chicago just went all in with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams looking to improve that team. There is a scenario where Green Bay is the 4th best team in that division, and if that happens after this trade, Dallas looks absolutely like geniuses, right?
It'd be the way that it turns out. Absolutely.
But then the
$47 million, so much money.
Yes, it is. That's more than most quarterbacks. And this is the flip side of the coin, though. If he helps Green Bay win that division and get to at least a conference championship, Green Bay looks like geniuses, right?
Yep, they sure do.
I don't know how the heck you grade this trade, because this is one of those rare trades where I say when you look at it, it makes perfect sense both ways. I think the value both ways was very much, I don't want to say even, but equivalent, right? It was like an equivalent trade. Clearly maybe the better, but clearly the more ready to push your team over the top talent went to Green Bay. And for Dallas, this was a guy who was causing you hardship. You were able to ship him out for good value. Let's be honest here. We've seen what players have moved for. You're talking, just look what DK Metcalf got, right? A top tier guy who got paid top tier money after the trade. So kind of similar talk here. You're talking a top 20 wide receiver gets moved after the trade for a second round pick. And then a top 10 defensive edge rusher gets moved for 2 first rounders and an all pro. I mean, they got top tier value for moving him on a contract year when he was upset. And honestly, Gingy, he got more value than most quarterbacks who get traded. That's crazy to me.
I mean, he was allegedly that guy, right?
What do you think about how but if he was that guy, what the hell's happened in Dallas his first 4 years?
I mean, he put up major production on that defense.
So is TJ Watt.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, to me, that guy's the guy who wins you playoff games, right? Neither one of these guys has done that yet. I believe Myles Garrett has more playoff wins than the 2 of those, TJ Watt and Micah Parsons combined.
I hear you. Can't be understated the value of positive edge rush, though. If you don't have it, you still win.
Yeah, yes. And my example is the damn Kansas City Chiefs, who forever their only rushers an interior rusher. So I've always said I feel interior pass rushers are so much more valuable than exterior pass rushers, and the reason is interior pass rushers when they are good, they blow up both the run game and the pass game. Almost every good edge rusher in the NFL struggles against the run game because it's just the way you play, because they're playing to get outside fast, and in a run game you can take advantage of the fact that they get outside fast if you run it right at their gaps. You can't do that with an interior edge rusher. That's why, in my opinion, interior edge rushers are the ones who are more valuable to an NFL team.
You heard it here, folks. Donkey said it.
Oh, that's my opinion, Ginger. So this is where you're supposed to counterpoint or agree with point. Come on now.
It's all about that team dynamics, Donkey, on defense. What are you playing into with your strengths, right? You got to have something. If it's not pass rush, it's something else. It's superior after the play coverage, right? Superior downfield coverage, superior middle play, something. Or at
That's
least,
fair.
well, with Kansas City, it's consistency, right? It's like almost bend don't break. You know what I've always said about that team? That team just does enough to win
They
games.
also have they
They're going to
also
win.
play really good on the outside edges at corner. Their cornerbacks have been so good for so long, and they play so aggressive. And it's not surprising the years that they struggle were the years that you look outside and guys like Trent McDuffie got hurt right before the playoffs. Can't
Yeah,
overstate how good you need to be on the outside.
that team seems to win 16-19 or 35-38, right? It's just something in the
Mm-hmm.
DNA there. But I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you, Donkey. I am very glad the TJ Watt deal got done before we had to consider paying him over $47 million.
Dude, I'm just so mad at how quick we could have done the rebuild after Roethlisberger got told it's time to call it quits if we would have just traded TJ Watt and Cam Hayward during that offseason. Because if Micah Parsons nets you two and an all pro player, you have to assume TJ Watt would have done that during that time, and Cam Hayward was still in that part of his career where he probably nets you a first round or two. Oh man, we would have been swimming in draft picks. Now, whether or not Omar Khan can hit with any of those draft picks is yet to be seen, because I hate to say it, look at our initial 53-man roster, Gingy. There's not a whole lot of solid starters that have been Omar Khan draft picks to this point. Hopefully, Broderick Jones and Troy Fontanu prove that to be a moot point this year, but so far not looking the prettiest.
Yeah, it's got to be that way this year.
Mm-hmm. Now, Gingy, let's go ahead. Let's get into the initial 53-man roster. There's a couple names here who clearly were kept on the roster because the Steelers wanted to put them on IR and have the ability to retain the services of them being young guys. But initial 53-man roster when it came out, four quarterbacks. That's Will Howard, of course, got transferred to the IR later. Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson. Running backs are Kenneth Gainwell, Caleb Johnson, Jalen Warren. Offensive linemen were Calvin Anderson, Spencer Anderson, backups. The other backups on there were Ryan McCollum, Andres Pete. Starters, of course, Zach Frazier, Troy Fontanu, Broderick Jones, Isaac Simualu, and I missed Ryan McCollum as the backup center. Tight ends, we only kept three: Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington. That's because we're calling Baby Hayward, Connor, tight end fullback, so we kept one of them. Kept five wide receivers, and thank God Robert Woods was not one of them. However, you'll see his name appear a little later. That's Calvin Austin III, DK Metcalf, Scotty Miller, Ben Skronik, Roman Wilson. Offensive side of the ball, any surprises to you, Gingy, when it first came out, or was this what you expected?
Pretty much what I expected from the offensive side.
I agree,
Still,
it fully is. And I told you I was so sad because both the running backs I wanted to make it weren't going to make it, and I knew it, and that's just how it ended up.
very unfortunate.
And I'm not surprised by Will Anderson. I knew we were going to cut some vet that we could just instantly re-sign, some vet that wasn't subject to waivers. Kenny Clark. And we knew that was going to, or Chuck Clark, excuse me. We were talking Kenny Clark earlier. Got a little confused there. And I'm not surprised Will Howard made the team in order to get put on IR there. So let's move on to defense. Kept 8 defensive linemen, Gingy. That's Keanu Benton, Waya Black, Daniel Iquale, Derek Harmon, Cameron Hayward, Logan Lee making the team again, Isaiah Loudermilk, and Azizi Adamueo. No real surprises there, except that Loudermilk still keeps making this team, Gingy. I swear to God, that dude's just there to drive me nuts. However, one of the people I thought was going to make it to drive me nuts didn't, although his name will appear later. Get to linebackers. Outside, no big surprise there. You have Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith, T.J. Watt, and Jack Sawyer, the rookie, of course. Middle linebacker, you're keeping Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb, Malik Harrison, and maybe the surprise of it, Carson Bruner goes ahead and wins out that job. He was a guy I talked about at the end, whereas his special teams knack from college and him being the leading tackler in all 3 preseason games going to get him there. Gingy, it does. What you think about the front seven of the Steelers, the defensive line linebackers group? How you expected, or a couple surprises for you?
Pretty much locked in with what we're expected after watching the preseason, Donkey. I don't know. I didn't see really too much in this roster that super surprised me. Still have the same concerns that we did before, though, regarding depth and ability to stay healthy being very key throughout this season. But overall, I'm pretty happy with what we see on the starting roster.
That's true. Defensive backs, maybe a little bit of surprise here. We only kept 3 safeties originally, but we know why a little later. And to me, the biggest surprise making this roster, I'm going to start right off with him, Dante Kent. Now, we know he got put straight to IR, but I was surprised that they even kept him at all. He's a guy who really hasn't shown anything at all when he was healthy. But he's a draft pick. They like him. They're going to keep him to stick him on IR, kind of like they did that kid from Texas last year, although that injury ended up being career-ending. Sucky for him. I feel it's very similar to what happened there. But the rest of them, Brandon Eccles, who else do we got out there? Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, obviously. And then the safeties, only keeping 3 originally. Deshaun Elliott and Juan Thornhill, no surprise. Miles Killebrew, no surprise. I mean, that dude's good for a block punt every year. Special teams superstar. When you looked at that original roster, Gingy, I'm not going to lie, it's like, whoa, we only kept 3 safeties, but then I realized, oh, wait, Will Howard's definitely going to IR. We cut Chuck Clark. There's 4 safeties on the roster. So maybe no surprise there on the defensive backs?
None really for me.
Outside of maybe Kent making the original roster. Special teams. This is the guy I wanted to make it made it, but man, did it surprise me, Gingy. We have Chris Boswell. Corliss Waitman wins the punting competition. And, of course, Christian Kuntz. You surprised by the punter who made this team, or is it kind of what you expected based off preseason? The best hang time in the NFL of any punter was, of course, Corliss Waitman at 4.88 seconds, and Cameron Johnston only came in with, I think it was like 4.3 seconds per average punt, which was good for 20th in the NFL. We actually had 2 good punters in terms of hang time to choose from. Are you surprised this is the way it went, though, with the younger, cheaper guy beating out the older, higher paid vet?
Yeah, you think so, Donkey? I think we discussed that on the show a couple weeks ago that neither one of us were going to be surprised about that.
I was going to be surprised if he beat him. I thought Johnson had that job for sure. That turns out not to be the case. But, Gingy, of course, we know Kent gets put on the IR, which let Sharping, right? The offensive lineman gets signed. And yep. Will Howard goes on the IR. Chuck Clark replaces his spot. So now we have a full plethora of backup offensive linemen, which is a little rare for the Steelers. Only keeping 5 wide receivers and 5 defensive backs. A little rarity for the Steelers there. Did maybe not the IR moves, but did adding another offensive lineman and keeping we kept an extra offensive and defensive lineman compared to normal. Did that surprise you at all, Gingy?
Well, I think Steelers, it feels like to me that they're going with this new thing where they want players to be versatile, be able to play more than one position so they can do these kind of hinky roster type of things.
So Logan Lee made the team because he's the backup long snapper?
I think so, Donkey. You see what I'm saying? I think so.
I can dig that, actually. I respect that. Continue your thoughts. Sorry.
No. That's okay. Nothing really surprised me based on the preseason. We didn't get to see really we got to see a lot of these different guys. Like you said, not being able to keep more than 3 running backs would have been nice to be able to keep 4 there, just based on the type of offense I think that we're going to be running, to be honest with you. But I don't know. None of them must have had any special teams abilities, or else maybe they would have went that way.
I will say this. The Steelers practice squad brought in a lot of the people I figured would make the roster, or I wanted to make the roster, so I don't have very many complaints with how the practice squad went. So we'll have to go into how the practice squad went as well. And to me, maybe the biggest surprise was the Steelers' top 2 turnover machines last year. That, of course, is, why can't I think of the guy's name? Donta Jackson. with 5 interceptions, is now playing with the Chargers. And Beanie Bishop, well, he ends up making the practice squad, spoiler alert, but they cut Beanie Bishop, who was second in the team in interceptions last year. I really liked what I saw from him. I did say he had a bad preseason, and then apparently was a little injured before the final week, so he didn't get to show much. Little surprising there for me on that. But when we go to the practice squad, there are 5 guys who are listed as defensive backs. We got Beanie Bishop, the undrafted safety Sebastian Castro, Deshaun Jameson, who's also a safety, James Pierre. I'm surprised he didn't make the team. I'm gonna be honest. The dude's like our best special teams gunner, but he might get elevated for a game or two here or there with the way the new special teams work. Makes it, and then Daryl Porter Jr., who yeah, well, that guy is forever going to be on my crap list because he doesn't give effort into tackling. He just watched a guy run the ball into the end zone when he could have helped at any time. Neither here nor there. Defensive line, they bring in Kyler Baugh and DeMarvin Leal, former third-round pick, didn't make this roster, really hasn't done much in his career. I told you, I liked the player when we drafted him, and I hate the fit, and I still feel that way. He's not a 3-4 defensive end. He's not a 3-4 outside linebacker. I don't know why the Steelers are infatuated with this guy. He's just never going to fit our system, Gingy.
Really unfortunate, too. Good football player, though.
I think he has a chance if he could go somewhere else to be a rotational piece. Linebacker, we have our so we have 17 players on our practice squad instead of 16 because we have our foreign exemption guy and Julius Welskroff at linebacker. He's an outside linebacker type of guy. Really haven't seen much from him in 2 years. Offensive line, they end up with 3. Dylan Cook, Stephen Jones, and Aiden Williams, kid from Anchorage, makes the practice squad. Happy for him. So 3 offensive linemen to rotate in. A lot of offensive linemen kept this year, which really makes me feel they're not comfortable with any of their depth pieces, Gingy.
Yeah, boy, let's hope that that's not the case.
We get to running back. We kept both the guys I was hoping would somehow sneak a roster spot, Lou Nichols and Trey Sermon, at least for the time being, get to stay in Pittsburgh and get to add depth to that running back room. So if we need to call one up due to get any kind of beatdowns or anything like that, Gingy, we do have some options on the practice squad.
Let's go. It's good to have extra guys available, but man, would have been nice. They must have not showed up against first stringers, right? Because otherwise they had great preseason.
Lou Nichols never got a chance. Trey Sermon, I think he looked good in every preseason game he played. The problem was we didn't go out and sign the guys we signed to not give them roster spots. You know how Mike Tomlin works. That's why I was so surprised that Robert Woods got cut. But if you watched him in the preseason, dude, Robert Woods was the slowest guy on the field. You had to cut him. But he makes the practice squad, Gingy. Pass catchers, we keep 4. Tight end J.J. Gilbreth makes the practice squad. Robert Woods makes the practice squad. Then a couple intriguing young guys. Keyshawn Williams, he was the guy who returned punts for us. And Max Hurlman, he was a Notre Dame running back who played wide receiver mostly in all of the preseason games. Had a big game in week 2. Couple interesting guys there. A nice little developmental roster of group. Some vets mixed in there, obviously Trey Sermon, He Who Shall Not Be Named, and Robert Woods. I feel like that group is a good depth group to have going into the season. Any type of injuries, any type of need for call-ups, a lot of them are niche personnel that'll fit a certain thing that maybe you call them up to the active roster for a certain game, right? So, if we're looking for a run-heavy game, you bring in a guy like Trey Sermon. If we think a team is going to be really, really good on special teams, maybe we let He Who Shall Not Be Named get called up to the roster and be a gunner for a game. I kind of like the way the practice squad was built this year, Gingy, especially since we don't need a practice squad quarterback because our developmental quarterback got to land himself on IR.
Eesh. I like how it's coming together, Donkey. I can't wait for week 1. Can't wait to be talking real week 1 season 2025 breakdown with you next week, Donkey.
Yes, if you do, you'll have to get on early in the week. So if it seems a little weird next week when we break it down, it's purely because I'm not going to be here late in the week, but I'm not going to put the video out till like Friday or Saturday. but it's going to be recorded probably Tuesday since I get on a plane Wednesday, which is what, like 3 days from now? Yay, fun. Awesome stuff. Gingy, we got a couple more things to do here before we call the preseason wrap up a wrap. And that is, do you want to go through predicting Steelers records for the season, or do you want to pick statistical stat leaders for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year?
Oh, boy. Stat leaders.
All right. Passing yards and touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers stays healthy and leads them both, right?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Skylar Thompson for the Dark Horse.
No, I don't think so. 4,800 yards and 26 touchdowns.
Jesus,
8 picks.
Sign me up for that. I like that.
Great.
I'm a fan of all of that. Yes, please. Rushing leader, Gingy. Who'd you got here?
Tough one. Give me Jaylen Warren. Stays healthy. Oof. I don't know, though. I don't know what this offense is going to look like. Is it going to be Najee type of production? Because is it going to be... I don't know. I don't think I can give you a number on that, but it's going to be Jaylen Warren leading.
Give me Caleb Johnson at about 850 yards.
Okay.
How about receiving yardage leader, Gingy? Who'd you like there?
Give me DK, of course, on that one.
Give me Roman Wilson at 1,200 yards.
It's not going to have 1,200 yards. Goodness gracious. DK.
Give me Roman Wilson at 1,200 yards.
DK Metcalf might have 1,200 yards.
I'm going to tell you right now, everyone's playing this boy up. I liked him in college. I said that when we drafted him. He's a little undersized and gets hurt. He proved that his rookie year. Dude, I think he has a healthy, absolute breakout year. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not like the Steelers' third-round wide receivers don't have that 1 year that they just absolutely kill it in year 1 or 2. Think Chase Claypool. Think George Pickens. Think Deontay Johnson. Think Roman Wilson, man. The next name to put himself firmly in that list. How about receiving touchdowns, Gingy?
Yeah. Still give me DK. I mean, 8.
All right. I watched this dude in the preseason, and there was a throw that made me go, Jesus Christ, you can't cover that guy. Aaron Rodgers is going to take advantage of that. I think Darnell Washington leads this team in receiving touchdowns with 6.
Wow. Yeah,
I don't know why.
You can't cover that. You can't cover some of those routes you did see him hit.
And I think the biggest change to our red zone offense this year is going to be actually throwing the ball with the blocking tight end in, and I think Aaron Rodgers takes advantage of Darnell Washington. I really do. I'm really looking forward to seeing that come to fruition. Let's flip it. Let's go defensive side. Who leads the team in sacks?
I mean, TJ Watt, 16.5.
Give me Alex Highsmith at 12. I don't think Watt stays healthy this year. I think Watt has 10 sacks in 10 games. I just don't think he plays 17 games. That's what I really think holds him back this year, Gingy.
That's not out of the question.
How about tackles? Who leads the Pittsburgh Steelers in tackles?
Ooh. Patrick Queen. Bounce back.
That's a fair guess. I think the guy who's going to end up leading this team in tackles, because we're going to have the same damn problem we always frickin' have, is Juan Thornhill. I think it's going to be just he's a straight-up replacement for Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? And Minka's led this team in tackles 2 straight years. Just seems like that's the position that's going to get the tackles. And
not going to argue that one, though, donkey.
That leaves us one stat, interceptions. Who leads this team in interceptions?
Ooh, give me...
Stonehand Joey Porter Jr.
Give me Joey Porter Jr. with 6 INTs this year.
Dude, that's more than he had in high school, college, and the pros combined, I bet. I know at least college and the pros, I'm not wrong. I'm going to just
Give
throw
it
high
to
school
me.
in there for extra credit.
Give me 6 for Joey Porter Jr.
I'm getting a tie here, and it's a tie of newcomers. Jalen Ramsey, Darius Big Play Slay, and, well, not new guy, Deshaun Elliott are all going to lead the Pittsburgh Steelers with 3 interceptions.
I like that idea, though, too.
They're going to barely out-intercept your version of Joey Porter Jr., so I like that better. All right, I'm down with that. And who's going to lead the Pittsburgh Steelers in points, Gingy? Easiest one. I'm going to give us an easy one we can't mess up unless something crazy happens.
Chris
AKA an
Boswell,
injury.
of course.
Yes. Now, the question is, how many points, Gingy?
169.
Okay, I'm thinking 30 field goals, 30 extra points. That puts us at now 120. I like the I-69 one there, Gingy, but I'm going with a $120.
Well, we'll see how it turns out. I think he's going to be kicking a lot of extra points, baby.
You know how many extra points he'd have to kick to get there? He needs to be kicking a lot of field goals, dude.
100.
So we're scoring
100 touchdowns.
What does that work to? 17? That's over 5? That's like 6 touchdowns a game?
Woo, look at that donkey. Wouldn't that be pretty special?
All right, well, my wife definitely cannot say you don't have on your black and gold color glasses today. Jesus.
Oh, we're getting excited for the opening of the season.
All right, we're about to see the 17-0 Gingy prediction, which if we did game by game, that's what will happen. I guarantee you, Gingy's going to pick the Steelers to win every week. However, he tends to be a little more realistic when we go over the whole season. So let's get our whole season predictions in there. We'll start, just so we're clear, I think the Steelers are going to go 12-5 this year. That's where I'm really feeling. However, I'm going to predict them to go 9-8 because the standard is the standard until the standard's proven to not be the standard. So I am picking the season to be 9-8. Okay, Gingy, week 1, Jets, win or loss?
Win. Dubs.
I agree with you on week 1 there. Week 2, Seahawks, win or loss?
Loss.
I have the Steelers winning this one. Week 3, going to the Patriots, win or loss?
Win.
I actually agree. We'll start 3-0. Week 4, crazy game. It's considered a home game, but we're playing Minnesota way over yonder in Ireland? Is that right? Sounds right.
Yes.
Win or loss?
It is. Win.
That's our first loss. All right, we're both at 3-1 now. Let's even up. We got a bye week, and then we got the Browns at home. Got to be a win, Gingy, right?
Win.
I agree. Let's go. At Bengals, week 7. That's an L to ruin the fun. What you got, Gingy?
L.
Ooh, we're keeping the record similar here. We got the Packers the next week. How you feeling about beating these new look Packers?
Is that home or away?
That's home. It's a night game. I believe it's a third or NBC. NBC has Sunday night. That's Sunday Night Football.
Win.
Hell yeah, primetime Steelers, baby. You know that's going to be a win.
Let's go.
Next week we got the Colts. I'm going to that game, so it's got to be a win for my daughter, right?
Win.
Yeah, you better say that. You're going to that game too, from my understanding. Then we go to the Chargers. Does the fun continue at Los Angeles, Gingy?
Win.
Damn, Gingy's got them going. I think they lose this Chargers game. After that, we have the Bengals at home. Even in the series up, baby. That's a win, right?
Win.
Let's go. Gingy's going for 2 losses. Then we have my sneaky pick for the year, the Bears. We're going to Chicago. Win or loss, Gingy?
Loss.
I think we beat my Bears, though. My hot pick for this year. Then we got the Buffalo Bills, Gingy, right before December starts. Do we win this game?
Loss.
No, Gingy. We whoop that Josh Allen little booty. All right? He's got no receivers. We're going to stop the run. We're going to win that game. Then we go to Baltimore. Gingy, how are you feeling about that one?
Win.
Oh, I think we win that game too, which means I'm changing my Buffalo game to a loss because otherwise I give us 10 wins. So we're losing to Buffalo. I agree with you. Disregard everything I just said about that. We're winning at the Ravens. Then we have the Dolphins, Gingy.
Win.
Loss.
No.
It's December, mid-December football. Steeler football, baby. Then we go to the Lions, Gingy.
Win.
Loss. Then we go to the Browns, Gingy.
Loss.
Agreed. Loss. And then we have the Ravens at home.
Win.
This is for the playoffs, so the Steelers lose because we're going 9-8, dude.
No.
And okay, I did do that right. I got 9. I got 9-8. The Gingy train here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lost. Gingy put him what I think the record's gonna be. Nice. Both of my predictions are shown on this show. 9-8 and 12-5. Let's go. Now, Gingy.
12-5 Steelers.
12-5. Do the Steelers, 1, win the AFC North? And if so, do they win the AFC?
Ooh.
He was not
they
ready
make
for
a
this
championship. I wasn't ready for this part. They make a championship. I don't know if they win the AFC though. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh no, I'm saying do they win the AFC North? Are they the 1 seed?
I don't think
overall?
so. I don't think so. I don't. No, I don't think they are. Even though they sweep Baltimore, I don't think they share as good a record. I think Baltimore is going to be 13-4. 2 losses to the Steelers.
I can respect that. All right, Gingy, any other Steelers news or NFL news that tickles your fancy? Any players who you're like, my God, that guy got cut. We should go sign him type of people that went out there. And also, are you happy that Adam Thielen got to go back to Minnesota for a nice little feel-good story getting out of Carolina?
Irrelevant. All irrelevant at this point, Donkey. I'm ready for see some Steelers football. Get that towel waving. Oh man, Donkey, let's go.
Yeah. If that's where we're at, I guess it's time for a shout out. We won't go to Gingy because, well, it's not season yet, but he'll have one, not the next show, but probably the show after, unless we lose. Then he's just going to be angry that we lost to Justin Fields and the freaking Jets, which is neither here nor there. College football started today. There were some good games. I got to watch 2 top 10 SEC football teams lose. Watching the SEC lose always makes me happy, even though it was Texas, and I'm kind of a slight Texas fan. But watching SEC teams lose, always fun. I love the way college football started. Got to see 90-year-old Lee Corso make his final pick. He picks the Buckeyes to beat the #1 Longhorn. And wouldn't you know, he gets it right. My shout-out's got to be to Lee Corso, man. I didn't realize that dude was rocking it all the way up to this year where he's calling it done. That dude's 90 years old and rocking it. My God, Gingy, what a career in sports broadcasting that man has had.
Change the way that sports entertainment is delivered to the masses.
In 1996, he did his first mascot don, ironically, as the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think it was 1996.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic.
That dude's done something like pick 300 games plus with mascot heads, pick 69, I think is what they said, different teams as the winner. And I thought that was the greatest stat ever.
Epic.
Legend. That man is a legend. And then a semi shout out to Pirates bench coach, old manager, old ass Gene Lamont. So the Pirates have a relief pitcher named Dari Moreta who, whenever he ends an inning, does like the shaking the money signs, at the top, the flick your fingers like dollar bills. And watching old ass Gene Lamont get off the step and do it with him was by far the greatest thing I've seen this whole season for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So also had to put that out there because my entertainment level was maxed on that one, Gingy.
Like to hear it, Donkey. Go Buccos.
Old people doing old people doing young people dances is great. Someday, if I happen to unfortunately live to old age, I want to be that guy. Absolutely do. I guess it's time to let you know I'm the Viking Donkey. That's Viking _ Donkey at Twitch or Twitter. Your daily dose of Donkey Gingers, where you get this awesome content. Be sure to tune in. We got week 1 predictions. We might even have a Lashkers. We might have a Gingy, or I might have to do it solo depending on how the time frames work out. But I will have their picks on the AFC North because you know how we do it here. And if you want to see something different, of course, leave a like, comment, follow. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We enjoy all of the feedback. Gingy, let them know one last time before we talk about stuff that matters.
Jackson Jennings, y'all better have time. Donkey, y'all better have time. Come on now. Me and Laskers, we're in for week 1. Let's go, Steelers. Next week, we're talking about the Jets. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Wave 'em if you got 'em.